All right, it's time for the final reveal here for the Summer Wine Club. The wine we've all been waiting for, haven't we? Yes, yes. Here it is. Man, I gotta get better at that. This is the 2019 Devil's Canyon Syrah. Devil's Canyon Syrah, in case, I don't know, not everyone knows this. I don't make that. First time I made a video about it. This Syrah comes from our steepest, most chalkiest, most southwest direct facing block on the vineyard. And southwest direct, it means direct sunlight. So basically this is the most intense section of our entire vineyard. It's the most calcareous of the soils. It's the most sunny. And also, you know, with that traditional southwest facing with the sun, that's the facing towards the ocean. So it also gets that direct, like cool, intense breeze hitting it the most. So of all the talk about the extreme vineyard site that we have, the Devil's Canyon is the most extreme, and that's kind of what this wine is supposed to be. It's an extreme version of what calcareous is and like what our wines are all about. And then it's Syrah, and probably, I would say the number one question I always get is, Jay, what's your favorite wine? I'm always like, I don't know. But here, for this one time only, I will admit that I lean towards Syrah. Because if you think of the whole world, if there's one varietal that I trust that I could get from anywhere in the world, I think it's Syrah. You can get European Syrahs, Australian Syrahs, South African Syrahs, Syrahs from South America. Overall, and then you add in the West Coast of America Syrahs. They're just great, and consistently, it's a great wine that kind of, it's not as austere, Cab's kind of like traditional. More of the New World palate. Pinot Noir is what a lot of intense wine people, the Burgundy people out there will always swear by Pinot Noir. But Pinot Noir can be a little too heady for me all the time. I gotta be in the mood sometimes. That's what I like about Syrah, because I'm not always in the mood to think about. I spend my whole day thinking about wine, wondering about wine. So sometimes at dinner time, I don't want to think too much. I want to enjoy. I want to sit down and relax and enjoy my meal, enjoy a conversation, have a nice wine that's fun to share with somebody. And that's, I'll put my money on Syrah on that one. So combine that with, as you've made out from the last few videos, I love the 2009 vintage. I just told someone the other day, I think these are the best wines I'll ever make. I should retire at this point. This is going to be chasing this vintage for a long time. And why I say that is there's just so much going on. And it's just, they're beautiful wines. There's a lot of intricacy to them. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of layers and levels going on. And that's what's most enjoyable about a really great wine, is the complexity of the entire thing. And these are the most complex wines that we've ever produced from here. And Syrah, usually such a powerful thing, and it's usually just like, you could just mows over the complexity with just brute force. But the complexity is here in the Syrah, and it's not like one of those Syrahs that's just perfect young, and then it fades real quick as the fruit fades away. It gets a little overly ripe in age, and these are going to age nicely well with that complexity and everything. So I just can't get enough of these wines. Time to me to have a drink here. Lost words here for a second. It's nice. It's the end of the day here, so I'm just trying to enjoy this nice glass of wine. I'm so excited for this to finally be, it's been in bottle for a while, but it's finally getting out there to you, our club members. it's just such a happy wine. It's a lot of what I've learned about making our Syrah, picking it. I used to pick a little riper. I used to push for a little bit more of the bigger fruit flavors. I always wanted to avoid, because of the acidity in our wines, it was always like easier to pick a little later, let the acid drop out. We found, some other tricks of the trade to try and get the natural acidity down, i.e. pressing our wines. I press and press and press, and I like what we get. We get a lot of phenolics that some winemakers cry about, but we're ripe here, so I don't have to cry about phenolics. The pH goes up, and a lot of winemakers in other regions of the world I can't use that 4.5 press wine. If I press out and I get 3.7 juice, it's perfect, so that my Syrah comes out to like 3.5, 3.6, and that's the pH for a calcareous wine here in this type of soils in West Paso. I like 3.5, 3.6. I think that's properly made Syrah. When you get up to 3.9 and the 4s, I think you waited too long, or you added something in there to deacidulate, which is just as bad as acidulating, in my opinion. You're taking away the natural essence of the wine by playing around with the acid in there. So I avoid that at all costs. And by starting to pick a little earlier, not necessarily that much earlier, a little bit earlier, but then going with that press wine to build the phenolics and use that as my pH buffer to squeeze out the natural juice in there that has a naturally higher pH, the juice around the seed. We're getting just this nice kind of balance and weight in there that, when I say balance, it says up front there's this size to it and that acidity is there up front. But in the mid palate, if you start to build into those tannins, if your pH is too low, if your pH is 3.1, 3.2, like you're making a Picpoul Blanc or something, that tannin acid thing can be really harsh. And that's what we're trying to avoid. This is a young wine, 2019, but I still want to sit here and be able to enjoy and be happy that I'm drinking in 2019. And I am happy. There's a nice amount of, there's a little bit of oak in this that I like. We're right around, and the Syrah is our big boy wine, so it's right around 40% new oak. It's not a big bragging point in most of the world, but that's a lot of oak to me. I always shy away from huge amounts of new oak. If you know me as a winemaker, I don't want the cooper to upstage me. No, to upstage the fruit. I want the barrel to add, not to be the star. And it's not an ego thing. It's just that we want our fruit and our wine to be the star. And I'm glad to have some great coopers out there. And I love my barrels and I love what they add. But they're secondary. They come in hot off the bench, hit a couple threes, and that's what you want out of them. And then go back and let the wine really be the star here. So yeah, it was 2019 vintage all the way through. I can't wait as we get into the Bordeaux in a little bit, because I think the Bordeaux generally do have a little bit more intricacy to them, a little bit more austerity, and they're interesting with how complex they are. But Syrah is a real star of our vineyard. It's always an exciting thing when we pull out the Syrah, and this Devil's Canyon from 2019 it's going to be a tough one to follow. I'm going to be putting cases of this away in the old personal cellar. So get it while you can. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoyed all of your shipments that came in the wine club this summer. And here we go. Won't be doing any more of these until fall, right around past harvest. I'll probably look a little more haggard the next time I start talking about these. But we'll have some more interesting videos coming up as I got to come up with some new topics. So thanks again. Take care.